And now, let's shift gears a little bit. Matters FKF elections, generating heat here and there, more candidates throwing their hat in the ring. Shitera, how do you see this panning out?
I think we are on the right track. I don't think there is any cause for alarm. The roadmap has been set. I think the electoral board has set out the electoral roadmap, the elections for the presidential contest is on 7th of December. So I think we are well on course. The noise that are being made here and there should have been made at the SGM. I still take that stand because that is the constitutional platform to air any grievances.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You've
grievances...
seen, probably respond to this. You've seen the road to Damascus.
No. You see, we are all. You all see what our national teams are doing. Under 20, under 17, the national team Harambee Stars. So why would we want to confuse all these good things with uncertainties? So I think we were in that uncertain situation that when will be when will we have the elections? Yeah. FKF has provided the roadmap. So then we want to for the benefit and for the good of the game. Yes. Let us adhere into elections. The votes will be done by the members, and the aspirants know that. They know where the votes are. Absolutely. So look for the votes.
Just hold that thought there.
Okay.
Of course, Shitera is saying the aspirants, or rather, the aspirants as for now, they're not yet candidates. They know where the votes are. And one man, Cleo Toto Shimanyola, has also cast his hat in the ring. He wants to be the next FKF chief. Let's take a listen to what Toto had to say.
Nimekuja hapa kuhakikisha kilio cha Wakenya kinafika mwisho. Kule mashinani, tunataka tuanzie kule mashinani, mpira utembee. Na tuseme kwamba zile stadium ambazo zijajengwa, tuhakikishe tumeambia serikali pia, tuhakikishe stadium ziko ready. Sijakuja kama project. Project mingi zinatumika na wale watu wana njaa. Mimi sina njaa, mimi nimeshiba. Na mimi najua kufanya kazi. So yoyote anafikiri ni mchezo, angoje kwa debe ataona kwamba tuko pale pamoja. Referees vile wamekuwa kiumia, tuhakikishe referees wamepata pesa zao. Mkiona mwendwa mwambie akuje, lakini kitu tunajua sheria inasema kwamba amesimama atamu zake ngapi? 2. Kwa hivyo atakiwa onekane katika election. Na waziri wa sports aliongea vizuri Murkomen. Akasema kwamba akamwambia kwa macho, mwendwa siku zako zilifanya nini? Ilisha.
Na ukiangalia wale candidate wengine wanaweza pia kuwa locked out ikiwa sheria ile itafatwa ya eligibility. Na sisi tunaamua kwamba lazima tuwaondoe pale Kandanda House kwa umoja wetu na wenu, Mungu akijalia.
Toto says here Hananja, he wants to take our football forward, Zita.
I think this is the time where people are regrouping. Every team, like mimi nda support nani, mimi nda support nani. So in the next 2 or 3 weeks, that is where we'll see all the candidates coming up, and we know who is standing where. But again, talking about Toto, he has been doing very well. Like last season, Homeboys did very well in the FKF Premier League, and he knows about the game. He knows about what people want. He knows about what is at stake, and he knows the rules and everything. So for me, if he wants to go there, wacha ingie kwa debe aende atafute kura. Atafute kura. That is the only thing. Tusianze kusema ati sijui nani anatuintimidate, sijui nani asitoke. Twende kwa kiwanja tutafute kura.
Tuende kwa kiwanja tutafute kura. Probably Wakili, your thoughts on this? The aspirants have really raised questions, some of them that is. What do you think? Do you think we'll follow this election roadmap to conclusion, or you see probably some hue and cry? Remember, Kempe is already at the CAS in Zurich, Switzerland, to contest some of the clauses.
I'd start from the point of there was a roadmap. This roadmap is not cast in stone. Looking at what made us have this timeline of 3 months, has been the uncertainty of the fact that we needed to have be done with these elections by now. We should not be talking about we are still planning for elections. But then again, that does not give us leeway to do things the wrong way just because we want to do it faster. Because the questions that are being raised by aspirants, the questions that are being raised by stakeholders still remain very legitimate questions because for once you look at the roadmap, the timelines for the submission of the list of delegates and eligible clubs was out there, and complaints to the board were supposed to have been responded to by Saturday, that was 5th. So between today and tomorrow, I think the candidate, or rather the list of the complaints that were raised about the list are supposed to be taken to the appeals committee, the FKF appeals committee. That is where the problem comes in.
Okay.
Because up to now, we do not know who are the members of the appeals committee. So in as much as we want this done, and we have the elections in December and we move to the next thing, it is also important that this is done in a way that does not open us to litigation.
Yeah. Just hold on, Zita, that thought. And of course, we also heard Hussein Mohammed talk about this. Let's hear what he had to say.
Time is not on our side. So information flow from the board needs to improve. And I think we are now getting very worried. We are asking the electoral board, where are the polling centers of the upcoming elections? Is the board going to go to the grassroots to get the club verification process done? And number 3, what format of petitions are they going to accept from branches that are not happy with the voter register? So for me, I want to urge the board to be very clear in their communication, to be very transparent in how they are managing the elections.
Is raising issues regarding communication and whatnot.
As you already said, the board needs to be very clear on the communication. If they think that something is not clear, they should raise eyebrows on what has happened, what they were not communicated about. So for me, I think let's leave the sideshows alone, and because as our lawyer has said, of course, there's a roadmap that you need to follow. But again, there was an SGM. Everyone who was there, the names were tabled at the SGM. Everyone agreed with the names. Everyone agreed with the rules that they were brought at the SGM. So all these...
That's clear, but I think what Hussein is raising is the question... the communication by the electoral board. He's not really contesting what was agreed on the floor.
I attended the press conference when the board was
inaugurated, yeah.
And one of the critical questions that we raised as journalists, what is your communication? You've not outlined properly your communication structures. And the chair said that he'll be the one making the communication.
And I think he made one yesterday.
So I think there needs to be a proper channel of communication and updates, because since the day they were launched, I think those are like 10 days ago. So making a communication 10 days later, I think I support what Hussein is saying. We need a structured way of communicating issues and a structured way of resolving questions, because there are so many questions that have not been resolved even as we move forward.
Even as we move forward, and of course, Waziri Kipchumba Murkomen, around 10 or 12 days ago, before a House committee, also spoke on this matter. Let's take a listen to what Waziri Kipchumba said.
Our role is to deliver elections that are not only free, fair and transparent, but also credible and verifiable. That is very key to us. The electoral board will be housed at Kandanda House. So there's a section that the FKF has graciously given to us, and it is within the remits of the regulations. So we'll be seated there with a very independent team that will help us deliver these elections.
I am going to have a meeting with the board to see if we can lend them neutral facilities, government facilities to operate their elections from, and whether we can also find ways of supporting them technically with IEBC so that the elections is as transparent as possible. That's the conversation we're having. We really want a properly working FKF that has the credibility and the confidence of the stakeholders so that football can reach the stature that the people of Kenya want it to reach.
Is the ministry aware that there are office bearers of FKF who are insisting that they shall go into the election beyond their constitutional timelines, beyond their constitutional tenures, arguing that their tenures were interrupted by the COVID pandemic.
Can you give an assurance to the country that you are actually going to sort out our football?
Mr. Speaker,
we were a better footballing nation 20 years ago than we are today because of sheer mismanagement of football in the country.
I have made it clear.
And when we were vetting you, you gave us that assurance. Can you assure this House and the country
Mr. Speaker,
that you are going to sort out the mess in football and take back Kenya to its level as a footballing nation?
And the election process that we are undertaking, Mr. Speaker, we want to be as transparent as possible to make sure that those who come in will make sure that they follow the narrow path, Mr. Speaker, to make sure that our football is managed well. And the eligibility of those who have held office for more than 2 terms, a letter went out from the registrar expressly to FKF that only no one will run for the same office more than 2 terms under the Sports Act. And that is very clear. And I believe that the officials of FKF who are holding office now, if they want to run for office, maybe to run for a different office other than the one they have served for more than 2 terms, so that we can keep within our legal standards, Mr. Speaker.
That was Waziri Kipchumba Murkomen in the Sports CS. Shitera, quick reaction?
As the Speaker has rightly put it, I want to hold this, the CS by its own words. The Electoral Board was formed some 2 weeks ago. He promised...
not 2 weeks ago. It was inaugurated, unveiled.
Unveiled, yeah. And okay, they start working 2 weeks ago. The CS promised the House that he will have a meeting with them, that he will procure a neutral office for them. As we speak, the Electoral Board is working at Kandanda House.
FKF headquarters, yeah.
FKF headquarters. So the CS, his word should be the action. You see, don't make pronunciations that are popular and will make people happy just for the sake of making people happy. Because as we speak, his declaration and his promise has not come to fruition. The Electoral Board is still housed at Kandanda House. All this noise you are hearing from the aspirant probably is because of that they are housed at a place that might be manipulated. So let us have a structure or a system that if I promise you a camera, I will give you a camera. If I promise you a spoon, I'll give you a spoon, and not convince you that a spade is a big spoon.
Wakili, Stella says Waziri needs to keep his word.
He needs to keep his word, not for anything, but because, number one, the Electoral Board, as it was formed, does not have capacity. I mean, this is a small temporary body that is charged with holding these elections, or rather taking charge of these elections. They do not have facilities. They do not have, even in terms of staffing and all that. That's why we are seeing the decisions, given the timelines that they have, it's very short. So they need to have been moved to that particular neutral place. If not for anything, but just so that we are able to say that these elections would be free, fair, and verifiable.
Credible, yes.
Because the aspirants are not wrong to question, because if you house IEBC at the office of the president, we will raise questions. It is not because we agreed or because you cannot tell us that.
But let me play the devil's advocate to our Wakili. You'll respond to this. In that SGM, and actually it was passed, the Electoral Board will be domiciled at Kandanda House. And they all clapped and said, yeah.
No.
That was not said.
No, it was not said.
But it's there within the FKF guidelines.
But but they did not say where it will be housed.
Yeah, I think the Pandora box here, the contestants should actually raise issues.
But you see, say they're cutting down the cost. They say they're cutting down the cost.
The entire issue that I have with these particular elections, and maybe this will need to be the first thing that whoever text charge addresses is that electoral code of conduct for the FKF. It is where all our problems start from, because apart from even where the electoral board is going to be housed, there is the issue of who handles the register, who submits this register to the board, because it speaks of the general secretary submits it. The general secretary, there are speculations that he may be vying for this seat. How independent is he to be the one giving the register, handling the complaints, or rather being called to clarify the complaints? But at the same time, he is an active participant in this particular
the former CS said that we had a place where, is it Talanta House or Talanta something, the building that were for all the sports.
The sports headquarters.
When you don't have a room there whereby, so that we don't have all these questions, because all this is building up to something else, you know, and we want a smooth and fair election. If there's that house, they can get a room for them to come and to do there.
You see, the question of where they will be housed, I think, did not make its way, because it's something that was not a subject in the SGM.
It actually looks obvious that you're not supposed to be housed
as she says that you cannot house IBC in the office of the president.
At State House.
She has, or at State House. She has, and you see, we are following up on a promise made by the CS. He said, I will meet the electoral board immediately. We will look for a neutral ground.
Yes.
In fact, we will involve IEBC in this process. Those are his words. So he should live by his words to try and help the process that has already started raising questions.
Absolutely. Of course, as promised, we'll keep tabs on this story. It's a running story. Week in, week out. And of course, here we have no favorite candidates. We will cover all the candidates.